So back, I've had my first ride on the bike now and identified some ergonomical problems, shall we say. So basically it just means I need to set the bike up to fit me rather than the previous rider or riders. A lot of guys either don't know how to do this or just don't bother. It makes for a safer ride and more comfortable ride. You hear a lot of people complaining they've got wrist ache, arm pump. They're not doing MotoGP, it's just normally a badly set up bike. So I'll run you through what I'm going to do with mine to make sure it fits me, and hopefully it will help you make your bike more comfortable. So hopefully you can see, I might just move you around just a tad. So the first thing I'm going to set up is the gear lever. Now most people will know how to move their gear lever to suit them. They'll either find that they're having to lift the whole leg up because the gear lever is in the wrong position too high, or they're really struggling to get their foot underneath to be able to flick it up. Mine's the latter. My ankle does not want to do that movement anymore after the operations I've had, so I have to lift my leg, but getting my leg to come down here at this angle and then my foot at this angle is quite difficult. So mine tends to be more upright here, which brings obviously my boot shape up. Bear with me while I crash around. Okay, right, this is not one of the boots that I use for riding, but you'll see. To get under there, you've got to be at quite an angle. Let's just move you back just a tad so you can see. That's how your boot will fit underneath there. Mine actually needs to be more like that, so I've got to bring my gear lever up quite a bit. To do that, we've got a lock nut at either end, the other one's just under there, and then an adjuster in the middle. And when you've slackened off the two lock nuts, you wind the middle one, and then you'll see the gear lever go up and down depending on which direction you're moving in. Get off. That was enough. That's freed that one. This one's going to be a little bit more difficult to get to. Let's move that out of the way. Come on, you brother. Does that when you can see what you're doing. Now, quite often you can turn the centre part just with your fingers, so I'll give that a try first. Yeah, now you can see the gear levers moving quite easily. I'm going to stick mine slacken the adjusters a bit more. Obviously on this you'll have a left-handed thread at one end, right-handed thread at the other end. Now I'm going to set mine so that it's roughly the same level as the pegs. It still needs to come up a fair bit, but that's just for me. Everybody will be different, everybody's foot size is different, and mobility is different. Come on round. Got a bit of crud on the thread here. Right, I think that's just below, but it's gone up quite a bit, so I'm going to lock mine off there. And it's going to be trial and error. It's literally just going to be try it, see how we get on. there was just a bit of crap on the thread. There we go. So that is it. That is how you adjust your gear lever. As I said, everybody's is different, so, and it really will be trial and error. What you need to do once you've done this is to go out, ride your bike, and find out whether it's better, it's worse, or it's perfect, or it needs to be adjusted a wee bit more. That's all we're doing on that. Okay, next is the seat. On this bike I've got an adjustable height positioning, and you can also buy different thicknesses of seat. Some bikes you've got no adjustment whatsoever, so you'll either have to buy a separate seat or hack the seat that you've got. Quite a common one is you take the cover off and you scrape away some of the foam, recover it, you're fine. On mine, try not to set the arm off. On mine, you just release this catch there, flick that over, and that gives you about an inch, about 25 millimeters of extra height. That just sits back in there. Job done. Next is the handlebars. So handlebars themselves, I can't actually get on my bike at the moment, but I've done this part already, so I'll just explain it. The best way of doing the actual handlebar reach yourself is to just slacken these four, just enough for the bars to move under a little bit of pressure from your hands. What you don't want is it to be all floppy and loose. And then lift the bars, push them forward, pull them back until you get a comfortable riding position, so that your arms aren't overstretched or anything like that, too scrunched up. Get a comfortable position. That's where mine is, and then lock it back into position. The bit that I haven't done on mine just yet is the levers. And now on a lot of bikes the levers you can move individually and nothing else matters. On this one, not quite so simple. Well, I suppose it is simple, but everything moves together. So let me just reposition you slightly. Right, now this is going to be a little bit awkward to try and explain and show from this angle, but I'll do my best. So when you're riding along, and this will be the same for the brake lever side as well, if you've got to lift your fingers to get them over the lever, the positioning is wrong. Let's just move you around a tad. I think that'll probably pick it up. So the positioning of your hand to your levers, if you have to lift here before you can extend, that's wrong, which means your lever needs to go down slightly. Now mine's not a great deal, but it's enough to catch. I am slightly lower than my riding position, so it's making my hand do that a little bit. But generally you want your wrist straight and then your fingers to go from there straight out, where mine go underneath. So I need to lower my levers a little bit, and on this bike it will move the lever, and just in case my arm was in the way, see, I have to lift to get over it, and it should, if my hand was here for example, straight out, just straight out. So it needs to go down a little bit. On this bike I'm going to need to loosen this bolt here and these two here, and then the mirror, the handguard protectors, the lever will all, and the reservoir will all pivot round, so we'll do them next. The big bugger on the end here is a T50. Now I'm not going to take any of these out, I'm literally just going to crack them off so that we've got a little bit of movement, and then we'll torque them up again later. That one I've already loosened. Some porkies now. Still tight. So we'll just do this side for the moment. The other side's going to be the same, just other side. I can't remember if that's a 27 or a 30. The 27 seems a little bit loose. Yes, a 30, that's why. So we get the 30 in there. The thing to remember when you're using these Torx tools is, unlike an Allen key, you want the biggest size you can get in there, because the more grip you get, the better they work. So you don't want them loose. Just go in there somewhere. Trying to do it without. Oh, there we go. So now that is kind of what I would call a happy accident. I'm just stiffening it back up a little bit. So you can see now my fingers are not having to come up to go over. I think it might just go down just a whimsy. If you are going to do this with keys rather than a socket, be careful, cover your tank in case you come around there and catch it. The last thing you want to do is be putting a big gouge across the top of your tank. Now these are just nipped for the moment, and I will put the torque settings up on the screen. Now all that's moving is the guard, not the lever. That's just on the back of the handguard. There are screws in there which fix it to this. It's only really just the movement here, and it's the flexing in the plastic. So I'll try not to get it to flex too much and do it up under strain, otherwise it's likely to crack. We do appear to have got a little bit of movement in the other side, so I'm gonna just check the screws on the back haven't worked loose. Okay, so done the other side of the handlebars now, so everything is now ergonomically correct. The positioning across the shoulders, the only way you can really change that is if you've got wide enough bars to be able to pull everything apart slightly, or bring them in slightly. But invariably that means either hacking a bit off the end of the bars if you need to bring them in, or getting another set of bars and putting in a wider set on. Luckily this is about perfect for me, so I have nice comfortable position with my arms comfortably out in front of me. I'm not sitting up like this or like this and scrunched up or anything like that, so it should make for more comfortable riding and quicker reaction times on the levers through having those ergonomically positioned correctly. Same for the gear lever. I shouldn't keep messing the gears up at the moment. That's probably going to need 2 or 3 different attempts for me personally to get it correct for my foot. But then my foot is my foot and your foot will be your foot. Hope you found that interesting. Please like, subscribe and click the little bell, everything else that everybody says, so that you know when I put the next video up. And you can either laugh and take the piss out of me, or maybe you'll learn something, maybe we teach each other something. Take care, ride safe.